Hey everyone, Zain here with you to share a short practice with the folding chair. So if you want to join along as you're watching this, feel free to hop on a mat, get out any kind of a chair, folding chair or otherwise, and we'll do a little bit of shoulder warm up, and it'll be a side bending, back bending, focus, short practice. Okay, so here we go. So we'll take a position on the chair, so make sure it's not on something that's going to slide. So I have it on a sticky mat. If you feel like you're going to slide off the chair for some reason, you can put a sticky mat on the chair. We'll start with a variation of Navasana, taking a recline into the chair with the shins lifted and then the shins coming parallel to the floor. And take your arms beside the legs, lifting the chest, and being in this knee bent version of Paripurna Navasana. And hold on to the sides of the chair and see if you can straighten the legs out. Okay, you're more than welcome to try one leg at a time. So if it's difficult to straighten both, try for one. Those of you that can straighten for both, go for both. Take the arms out, arms straight, legs straight, chest lifted. And releasing. Okay, so that was the warm-up for the core. Again, if that's uncomfortable for you for your buttock bones or tailbone, I've shown a previous video similar to this, but a little bit different with some leg raises. And I was sitting on a folded mat at the edge of the chair. So something to consider. Okay. Now we'll get the shoulders warmed up. So allow for the shoulder blades to lift up, go forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back. So in a circular movement of the scapula. So the upper arm bone and the shoulder blade will move. And I'm going to hold on to or just put my hands beside the chair legs to check to see that my hands and lower arms are not going to move in that circle. They could, right? Like if I wanted to do this, great, okay, you can actually do that. So a little bit of a global movement through the arm, shoulder, and spine, and even head. And then back. Wasn't expecting this to happen, but it's nice to just see what takes place. Now I'm going to isolate most of that movement, so just targeting the shoulder and scapula to move, so resisting the hand, the lower arm, the neck and head from moving. So I raise my shoulder blades up to the ears. I pull the shoulder blades forward, draw them down, down and back, back and up. So I'm checking to see that the hands and lower arms are just moving up and down and not forward and back. And I'm trying to move through a smooth circle through the scapula. And then reversing direction. Sometimes it's nice to find a spot anywhere in front of you. Pick a spot with your gaze and keep your gaze there to resist the head from moving so as to better target independent joint movement at the shoulder blades. Okay? All right. Now, Purvottanasana. So walking the feet forward, knees bent, pushing with the hands down, lifting the buttocks up, like you're going to go to straighten the legs. We'll do it in a little bit, but just getting some load onto the wrists. So pressing with the wrists down, hands down, arms straight, buttocks in, chest lifted. And then coming down, coming back. Let's open up the wrists a little bit. We'll do that Purvottanasana again. Take your arms forward. Then make little fists with your hands, or big fists, however you want to think about it, but squeeze a fist in. Point the knuckles down, pull the knuckles back, then move the knuckles up, and open up your fingertips and push with the heels of the palms away and pull with your fingernails back towards your face. Then make fists with the hands again. Pull the knuckles back towards your armpit side, really hard, intense, so you feel a good stretch on the top of the forearm. Then rotate the arm bone. Keep the knuckles pulling towards your face. Then release the fingertips, open the palms. Fingertips are pointing down, fingernails are pulling back. with as much effort as you can. So you really get a stretch on the underside of the arm now. And release, shake out the hands and arms. Okay, so now we'll do Purvottanasana again, but with the legs straight. So in this version, my hands are going to point forward, and then we'll do another version where the hands turn out. Okay? So right now I have the hands pointing forward. I walk the feet forward, straightening the legs, straightening the arms, lifting the buttocks up, and arching my back, neck and head back. Okay, if that doesn't feel good, you can always look towards the chest. And then releasing, coming down, resting, taking a pause. Okay? Now with the hands turned back, and one more variable we'll add, we'll have one leg bent, one leg straight. Okay, so it'll look something like this. So I've hit my hands turned around behind me, and I walk the legs forward. One leg will be bent, one will be straight. And you can stay on the heel of the straight leg or put the foot down, keeping the other leg bent. Then releasing, stepping back, stepping forward, and lifting up. So the leg that's bent, the heel is lifted. The leg that's straight, the heel is pressing. And then decide to press the sole of the foot down, lifting the chest, arching the back. Coming down. Then you can play with the angle of the arm. So I had it angled back. It's possible you could have it more underneath the shoulder, but that's just in this practice, just to get a little bit more warmed up and familiar with putting load and extension in arms turned out. Okay? All right, so now we'll take a downward facing dog position. So holding the side corners of the chair, I'm pressing down and pulling my hips back. So arms and legs are straight. And then we'll come into upward dog. So first plank, where the shoulders are over the wrists. So tall plank with the chair. Then bringing the hips forward, pelvis forward, chest up. I have to bend my elbows to get my chest to come through. And I bend the elbows back and in as I straighten the arms, straighten the legs, lift the chest, and arch my back, neck and head back. And then I come back to downward facing dog. Arms and legs straight. Okay, upward dog again, this time on the tops of the feet. So coming forward, taking time to flip on tops of the toes and feet. If that's too intense, you can always do one foot, toes tucked, the other foot top of the foot, so you can decide. Okay. Bending my arms, taking the chest through, straightening the arms, pressing the tops of the feet to straighten the legs, lifting the chest, arching the back, neck and head back. Back, downward facing dog. Okay, now side plank. So coming to that top of the plank, okay, I'm going to be on my right hand, pointing towards the back of the chair, and then turn on the sides of my feet. Okay, so on my outer edge of my right foot here. I'm pressing down, lifting my chest, taking the top arm up, and then taking the arm overhead. Releasing, coming down, turning the feet, holding the chair, going back to dog, and then coming forward, situate the hand, turn to the side of the foot, the outer edge of the left foot. Top foot can be stacked, it could be put forward or back. I just have it stacked for now. Getting my side plank position, arm up, and then arm overhead. And I allow for the bottom hips to move away from the floor, where I'm expressing the top side of the ribs a little more, quite a bit more. Release, coming back. Again, but this time with one leg in a Vrikshasana tree pose position. Okay, so coming forward, turning the feet, positioning the hand, then bending the opposite leg, placing the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, pulling away from the chair, top arm up, top arm overhead. And this time, if you can turn your arm where the palm faces the ceiling, as long as your balance is okay, look up and slightly back. Buttocks in, tailbone in. The neck and head can look back. You look back at your top hand, the underside. And then release, come down, opposite side, and forward, around, side plank, and putting the leg into Vrikshasana, tree pose, taking the top arm up, and then taking the arm overhead, behind, and then turning the arm so the palm is facing the ceiling. Lifting the chest and arcing back. As long as the gaze and balance is okay, and look behind you. And releasing, coming down, resting in dog pose. And then we'll do something similar but a little different, but first to get into the triceps. So some tricep dips, as I recently learned from Carrier Worko off the Playground platform online. Be sure to check it out. Super fun place to be these days, virtually connecting with Carrie and learning lots and lots of fun and exciting play and movement. Okay, so it's really nice for the triceps here. So I come forward. My hands are slightly turned out. They could be turned back. They could be turned forward, but for right now, they're just slightly turned out. And I give myself some room to come forward and dip with the knees bent, elbows bent, and then straightening the arms. Now, if I can do it with the legs straight, I'll do it with the legs straight. I give myself a little more room, bending the elbows, lowering the buttocks, and then pushing slowly to really get the tricep to work. Let's see if I can do it with one leg, down, slow on the come up. It's possible to do a little back bend, release, side. Okay. So I got the backs of the arms, the triceps on. So again, good to practice with variations for the hands, forward, back. For right now, we just had them turned out. Okay, let me just take a little pause here, wipe this sweat down. Like I'm a swamp animal here in Florida, Central Florida, and Panama City Beach, to be exact. But it's a hot one, to say the least. And I don't have the fans on to cut out background noise. So, okay, pause is over. So now, side plank, but with a little bit of dipping. So what's that going to look like? So coming from here, or however you can just start from here too. Okay? Then beginning to allow the hips to dip and then lift. Okay? You can try variation with the back foot out. You can also try hand, elbow behind. So whatever is easiest for you to hold. Like if you need to bend the back arm to do this, I'm keeping it straight, but the idea is to let the hips dip and feel a big stretch on this side body here. Maybe turn the neck and head, the top arm up. It's nice to cross feet. Okay. All right, opposite side. So first, just getting comfortable with the side plank dip. So in here, the arm is not bending unless you need it to bend. Like if you need it to bend to lower down, or you want to do it, not even need, you want to, you can, or you can keep it straight and then include the arm overhead as you dip. And then experiment with the leg position. and coming back. Okay. Now, taking a seat, like a Vrikshasana, like this, and then lifting the chest and turning the chest, using the chair as a prop to assist with the twist, and then pressing down with the back hand, using the back tricep, lifting up, okay, turning the straight leg foot out, the bent leg foot heel is lifted, and then taking this arm overhead and behind. And then coming down, Vrikshasana, and then coming up, side bend, back bend. Coming down, coming up, and then coming up, around, opposite side. Okay. So first, situating in this Vrikshasana 1, the open chest twist. Then using that back hand against the chair to assist with the twist. And that same hand, okay, pressing down, you can turn the hand out, press it forward, whatever's going to help you lift up. The straight leg foot is going to turn out. Bent leg heel is going to lift. Top arm comes up. And you take the arm overhead and behind. Then coming down, dipping, and lifting, extending, turning. Coming down, bending, twisting, lifting up, pressing the outer edge of the bottom foot or the sole of the foot if you can, and taking the top arm up and back, and looking behind. And then release. Careful with the chair, not to slide. Okay, so if that happens, you can double up the sticky mat, okay, however needed. Okay, so the chair would not slide. Or have the chair against the wall. I have a television attached to this wall here behind the blanket, so I don't want to push the chair into it. But you could have the chair into the wall, and then there's no chance of the chair sliding, even though it wasn't so scary, but just better to be careful, especially if you're not sure how to pull the chair back. Okay, so now finishing off with a little bit of a cool down from our practice. So I have the chair to the wall. You may not have it. It's all good. We're pressing the chair forward, pulling back. My intention behind putting the chair in the center in the beginning was anyway because of the light. But if I have a choice, I would choose the wall, because then there's, even with dog pose, you can push the chair forward as you pull the hips back. Sorry, my computer screen went blank there. It's my first time recording on QuickTime, so just FYI, sharing technical lighting and computer sort of details with you. Okay. Now let's do a twist. So chair, I'm putting my hand on the center of the chair and pressing the chair forward, taking advantage of the chair against the wall. Hand to opposite calf or ankle if you can reach. Bending top arm, bending bottom arm, turning the chest. Both my legs are straight and both my hips I'm keeping leveled for now. In a moment, we'll go unleveled. Okay, so opposite leg, so that's my left leg I'm bending. So my left hip is coming forward and down, right hip up and back. So my hips are not leveled. Coming back, hand on the chair seat, hand out, calf, ankle, wherever you can reach. Could even be here. You could bend the leg to turn. Okay? First, if you can just keep the leg straight, hips leveled, turning the chest without turning the pelvis. Bending both elbows if possible. You may not be able to get the top, that's okay. And then opposite leg I'm bending, opposite hip is lowering, top hip is lifting. I'm turning the chest and the hips. And releasing. Resting in dog pose. And then coming forward, crossing the arms, resting the head. Arms onto the chair, head onto the arms. And then one Kurmasana-like position. So that's the tortoise pose. Knees are wide, arms come through, either holding the legs of the chair, the crossbar. If you have an opposite crossbar, great, or opposite legs of the chair or the ones further away. And then fold forward, round your back, and go into your own shell. Stay rounded, but let the hands come through so arms are relaxed. Put the hands onto the floor, press to lift up. Put the hands onto your knees and thighs, press to lift up. And that's our practice for today. All right, so I don't know if you broke a sweat or not, but cool down as you need. And hope you enjoyed that. And more videos to come as I have the time and space to shoot from this residence here in Panama City Beach. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, curiosities about this practice, feel free to leave a comment here or message me directly. Again, check out Carrie's Playground. A lot of this practice, highly inspired by Carrieworko. So that's the playground.carrieworko.com. That's where I'm spending a lot of my time these days, virtually connecting with Carrie, taking live classes, and a vast library of fun and playful movements for practice. Okay, so until next time, peace.